glad to be back out there playing after a 10-day, time without playing. And I think you could see some kind of spotty play. I thought we did some things really well in segments. Still searching for that really clean 40-minute game. But I thought for the most part our effort was really good. I thought our ball movement, when we moved offensively, was really good. And obviously I thought we shot the ball pretty well again from three. Certainly the turnovers were a problem, and I guess our walk-ins felt like they needed to get in on the party when they got in at the end, because each of them had one. So good win against a scrappy team. I was playing with a lot of pride, got a lot of respect for Coach Martin, who I got to know through the Huggins and Frank Martin tree. He's going to build a team that's competitive, and just happy to get out there with a win and look forward to getting better tomorrow.
I asked Q about this. It looked like, I think, the score was still tight. They had come back after the half to tie it. About 16 minutes left. He got a foul off a missed three, then got a steal, went down. It's almost like he said, look, enough of this. Let's just, and that's kind of when from that point on, you guys just kept building it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's becoming clear that kind of there's a little bit of establishment of a sort of a hierarchy amongst our team.
Mm-hmm.
Javon's clearly our best player all around. Bryce is probably going to end up being our leading scorer because of the way Javon plays, and he's more facilitator minded. But I don't think there's any question who our emotional leader is and who kind of drives the energy of our team. And it's Q, and it's good that it's Q because we ask him to play a role that needs to play that way in terms of being a defender, a hustle guy, a rebounder on both ends of the floor. And so I'm glad he's embraced that, because it's not a role that many people want to embrace, because everybody wants to be the guy that's creating the shots and making threes. But he's starting to find that he can have success doing those things without necessarily having a bunch of plays run for him. Getting a double-double and being the highest plus-minus guy without us really running any plays for him is pretty impressive. And it's something we needed to continue, because there's going to be guys that we'll look at him and say, hey, I don't need you to focus on offense at all tonight. I need you to really lock in defensively and rebounding. And he's shown his ability to do it.
Yeah, another example on the steals, he was literally overplaying. I mean, he was like the proverbial Tasmanian devil or Energizer bunny, just all over.
Yeah, his aggression was really, really the thing that kind of started the dominoes falling for us in the second half, and really bringing the energy to the rest of the guys. Obviously, we were able to get Daly a dunk in transition, and Garrison got one, but a lot of it started with him just setting the tone of, okay, we're going to show what we're capable of doing on the defensive end. And I don't know what the run was, but it was definitely sparked by him.
Speaking of Brandon, I asked him if the game's slowing down. It really, early in the game, he was an effective player very early in the game, and it just looks smooth.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a high skill set for a guy. He's still really learning the game, and obviously playing 12 college basketball games isn't enough to feel totally comfortable, but he's much more comfortable than he was when he didn't score at all in his first college basketball game on November 6th. So thought he was still a little bit too passive early in the game, which led to some turnovers. And I think a product of it is he caught the ball late in the shot clock a couple of times, and he doesn't like to turn the ball over at all. So he got more comfortable as the game went along. We still need him to continue to be aggressive, rebounding the basketball, defending the pick and rolls. And then when he has opportunities to finish, we got to get him to convert some of those and ones a little bit better.
Not every hustle guy is 6'5", 220, and as skilled as he is, but what could his ceiling be, considering that he's got the mindset, he's got the body, he's got the skills to do what he can do?
Yeah, again, I try not to put a game because I don't know. I don't want to put a cap on it. He's become a better shooter. He's showing he's more confident, and he's not taking a ton of them, 2 a game, and usually he's making 1 of the 2, so shooting a pretty high percentage because he's being smart about the shots he's taking. But his rebounding and defense and energy has to be the thing that carries his game, because he's the one guy who can really impact the game that way for us. Again, last year's team had multiple guys who could do that, so he was kind of lost because he wasn't able to find his own identity within that. But I think embracing that for this particular roster is really, really critical. Where it goes, I hope he can take it as far as the game allows him in terms of as high up, because those guys are valuable at every level of basketball. I'm talking about the NBA, overseas. People are looking for guys like Keon because every team already has a Tatum, or every team already has a Shea, every team already has a Durant, and they need guys like Q to fill those other gaps, like a Lou Dort, for instance, who can be kind of that undersized guy who can guard multiple people, can be comfortable making an open shot, but you don't necessarily have to run your offense through him to be effective.
I wasn't here the other day, but I read where you asked the guys to go home and kind of get away from it, kind of cleanse everything. And when you got them back, did you feel like you got some renewal opportunities?
Yeah. I thought the guys came back revived, and the only bad part is this time of year, especially as you travel, there's some illness that kind of floats around. It's kind of permeating its way through our team a little bit. Jamiron Q was actually first, which was my biggest concern if we weren't going to have him, but he was sick the day we got back, wasn't able to practice for a day and a half, and then Jamiron was affected, and then it hit Isaiah yesterday morning. But it seemed like it's been kind of a 24, 36-hour deal with that, so hopefully it won't hit everybody. It certainly doesn't hit too many guys at once. But other than that, I thought their focus has been good. We've been talking about using this week to really prepare ourselves for Big 12 play. And I think some of that evidence is the way we played in terms of a depth standpoint. And that's what you'll see kind of moving forward.
Through his first 5 games, Jarius was shooting 25% from 3, shooting 50% since. Were you ever worried that maybe the level's too big, maybe he's not going to bust out of this, but were you ever worried that was going to be the case with him?
No, and part of the reason I wasn't because I've seen him do it in practice against Q, against Bryce, against Devon. And sometimes it takes a while to adjust, not to your own teammates, but to how other teams may guard you at this level. And he's done a good job, and now he's understanding how to play off his shot fake better and how to find spaces where, Javon's coming off a ball screen and maybe helping on the roll on Brandon, how to move up the floor a little bit to get away from his defender. So he's a smart kid. He shot the ball well pretty much his whole life. And so it was never a concern. It was just a matter for me when it was going to happen. And I'm glad it's happening now because we really need that.
John Michael got some run late in the second half, but you really just used 8 guys through most of the game. Did you like where the roster cut, and did you like how that was going?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think Brandon or Eric necessarily produced at a high level early. So when you kind of commit to playing that way, you kind of sit there with a little angst for a while. But again, I think the more we do it, the more comfortable everybody will get with it. And that'll be nothing but positive. But we need John Michael and Connor and Justin and Zay to be ready because, again, it's illness, injury, like who knows? And we lived through it last year. It hit you at the wrong time and guys aren't ready. It could really, really hurt you.
With Keon and his ability to play above the rim, is that a learned kind of trait or is that something you see more natural with guys?
Most of it is pretty natural, physical, God-given ability. Like you could really try to learn if you want it.
I've tried.
There you go. So, but there's also a mindset of it because there are a lot of guys who have that ability who don't necessarily, because to do that, you have to be willing to play within the fray, so to speak. You got to be willing to get in the mix with other bodies because there's usually a lot of traffic in there. So it's also a mindset of being okay with a lot of contact.
Because with some of like the anticipation maybe required with the ball bouncing off the rim and stuff,
no doubt.
Is it something that just doing a lot of gets you better at that?
Sure, but kind of to your point, I guess, is that there is an intangible kind of knack for where the ball bounces, how it rebounds off the rim, that some guys have a better feel for than others. And I guess the more you do it, the more you allow yourself to buy into learning it, the better you'll get at it. And he's gotten really, really good at it. I think Daly's getting better. And I think I said it the other day, like there's some 6'4", 6'5", really good rebounders, and there's some guys who are 7'2" that aren't very good because they don't anticipate, they don't have the hand-eye coordination or see where the ball's gonna bounce. And they don't necessarily react as well either to the ball bouncing. So it's definitely not all just natural size and athleticism. There's a combination of both.
You mentioned wanting to play this team because of that pressure. What can you learn through film study or whatever with the 23 turnovers that you guys have done?
Yeah, a lot of it was we just weren't cutting to the ball well enough. And I hope that bears out in the film because that's what I felt like I was seeing on the court. But a few times we just, Daly, who's played basketball, I think literally since he could stand up, dribbled into the deep corner, like in the corner in our front court, and then dribbled across half court and picked it up. Like, you rarely see that one time in a game for an intelligent player. but to have it happen twice, obviously just kind of some rust and lack of awareness and not having been in the situation in the college game yet. So that'll give us some film to kind of rectify that. Luckily, at least from what I've seen so far, Chicago State plays a similar style, and it'll give us an opportunity to have some more reps out.
Anything else for Coach?
Thanks, guys. Happy New
Appreciate
Year,
it, Mike.
everybody.